let's start from the beginning. For the last 6 years, I've made a living flipping video games online. What started as just me in a spare room eventually grew into a full-time team, a website, and a basement packed wall-to-wall with inventory. But now I'm doing something I swore I'd never do, because I just signed the lease on this rundown building that I'm going to build into Lexington's best video game store. In this brand new series, I'll be buying inventory to stock the shelves, showing you guys our progress, and building something bigger than I ever thought possible, folks. This is the Game Store Gambit. Now folks, as you guys can see, we haven't even started demolition on this space yet. We still need to knock out this wall and take out those couple rooms back there to make more room for this store, but that doesn't mean there's no work to be done. Oh no. In the next few months, I have to buy enough video games to stock an entire store. So today, I'm going on a road trip north to the Midwest to try to spot some underpriced video games to stock our future shelves. My first stop of the road trip was a store called Vacuums and Video Games. I've done a good bit of business here before, but when I went there this time, I was just struck by how much inventory was in those cases. I started in my mind trying to calculate how much it must have cost to stock those things, but before I could get too far, the owner, Jaffa, told me that he's got a storage unit a little bit off-site with a bunch of cheaper inventory that he thought I might be interested in. All right, well folks, it is pouring down rain on us out here. I think the big question of this deal is actually not going to be whether or not the price is right. I think it is going to be. It's more going to be, is this stuff all shovelware or is it stuff that we can actually use? All right. Wow. Yeah, I did not realize just how much. So this is all stuff that came in through the store somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know how many would fit in my Prius, but I'll shoot you some prices and see if there are any bins that would work for me. So just taking a look here, got some Atari stuff, some looks like random Wii, and looks like more than enough Rayquaza V cards here. As I go through this stuff, I am kind of realizing that part of the challenge of trying to buy for a future game store is I don't actually know necessarily what would sell well in one or what our local market demands are going to be. The good news is a lot of the stuff that is at least not like super low dollar shovelware, we could theoretically move like on Amazon or on Encore. So I'm just kind of trying to find the stuff that is maybe not entire. Okay, it looks like this is a lot of like empty kind of collector's edition boxes here. If I can find a box that some of the stuff at least could move on Amazon in addition to in-store potential, I think that would be the most ideal. This one may have a little bit of, okay, Forza's interesting. Driver is not too bad. A decent number of Call of Duties, attack game. I am seeing a little bit of stuff in this bin, so if there's any bin in here that we could come to a deal on, I would guess this would be it. All right, I found a solid bin over there of stuff that I think we could buy. Any idea what you were thinking on price on this? 50 bucks sound fair?
55 with the tote. Take my good totes.
All right, that sounds fair to me. Appreciate it. I actually ended up buying one more. Well, folks, overall, I'm feeling pretty decent about that deal. Spent $110 on 2 totes worth of games and a couple of totes themselves. I have found in general that not just game store owners, but any video game business owners tend to be much happier to part with inventory that they haven't processed at all yet. So this deal was a great example of that. Everything that I bought today will take a decent amount of prep. A lot of it will have to be recased or resurfaced, but in each of those bins that I bought, I spotted enough games that we can at least sell on Amazon to make the money back. And everything else, I'm gonna let Shaina, our head of inbound inventory, go through to see whether there's things that we can put in a physical store, even if it's just for like a $5 shelf, just to keep the shelves stocked and filled with stuff. Although obviously most of the stuff that we sell, I don't want to just be that low dollar filler kind of items. So overall, I'm pretty optimistic about that last deal, but what I'm even more excited about is this chain right behind me here. This store is the entire reason that I decided to go north for this game hunting trip today. Disc Replay / Mega Replay in this case is the single best chain in the world for stacking video game discounts. I say that because their pricing is A little bit unpredictable. Some games are a little higher than you'd expect, some games are lower than you would expect. And when you stack a bunch of the lower than you would expect priced games, they also do buy 5, get 1 free. So you can stack discounts really quick. And I've had a lot of luck here in the past. So let's go see what we can find in here. Oh, and folks, our first target is acquired here. NBA 2K14 for 10 bucks a piece. Check this out, 24 they're going for after fees on Amazon. That's insane. And here we've got 1, 2, 3, at least 3 of them. We may be able to spot a couple more. Oh, there's 1, 4. I still have not figured out why these are going for so much on there, but we will take it either way. Now, one thing that you guys are kind of watching me realize in real time here is that the kind of sourcing I'm used to doing for Amazon, exactly like these NBA 2K14s here, like these aren't the kind of thing that would do well in a physical store. So I'm having to kind of rewire my mind actively to look for the kind of inventory that likely would perform in store, but I'm also realizing at this point I have nothing to go on. Like on Amazon, I've got 6 years worth of sales history that I'm kind of leaning on to figure out what these games are actually worth, but I've never sold anything in a physical game store, so I don't actually know, like in the context of a local market, which of these games here are even underpriced. See, like here's a great example. This game here would be at least a $5 profit on Amazon, and honestly, I think it'd be a little bit more. But is this exact game the kind of thing that you would for sure want to have in stock in store? And if I got, what would the discount be, like 15% off of this low-ish price on this game, would that equate to a 15% profit in store? Would it sell slower than the average game? I don't know. But folks, here's the crazy thing. The more game store owners I talk to, the more I realize that there are all kinds of inventory that would never do well for me on Amazon that actually sell amazing in stores. And case in point here, folks, Pokemon plush. Every store owner I know says that these bad boys fly off the shelves at really good margins. But if I tried to sell one of these bad boys on Amazon, Mr. Bezos would just give me a very funny look and a swift kick to the pants. But folks, I think we may have finally found our first in-store flippable game, this Bushido Blade 2 here, complete for 25 bucks, a really solid price even before the buy 5 get 1 discount. According to Quick Flips, this thing price charts complete for $37. After the discount, I'll end up paying like 22 bucks for this guy, so I honestly feel really good about that. Now, since our announcement video a couple weeks ago, I've had a lot of really kind people reaching out on email or DM saying, how can I be involved in this new game store even before opening, which I really appreciate. And by far the biggest thing is if you have inventory like this for your own video game resale business, or you even have a small collection, we would absolutely love to buy it from you. There's a large chance that anything that you sell to us through our website, myquickflips.com, in the next couple months will end up in the game store. We're sort of in the process of figuring out how to sort it all out right now. I'm making my way through the PlayStation section right now, hoping that lightning strikes twice. So far, haven't had a whole lot of luck, but you can kind of see what I mean about this franchise. They've got the perfect mix of solid prices and a solid amount of stuff to look at. If you've never used our website, Quick Flips, before, it's super easy. It looks like this. You just look up all of your games and pick the ones that you want to send to us in a shipment. We have fair, transparent prices, so you always know exactly how much we're offering per game. And if you've never used it before, I'm gonna go ahead and include a bonus QR code right over here that you can use to get a $10 bonus if you've never used our website before. Again, the site is myquickflips.com. It's also linked in the description. You will not regret it. And if you've got a big collection of stuff, I'm talking north of $10,000, and you don't feel like putting it all into our website, you can hit me up directly at caleb@myquickflips.com, and we can kind of take it from there. Also hit me up there if you or someone you know has a copious amount of store fixtures. I'm talking nice glass cases or slat wall, or even something cool like a statue or an arcade that I absolutely need in this store, and you're in the Kentucky area, you can hit me up there as well. Okay, that's it. I'm done talking about all the help that I need with this store, but let's face it, I think I'm gonna need all the help I can get. I did manage to find these 3 games in the PlayStation section, the next Tetris, Tekken, and Spyro. I thought that was a solid price on this. These should each be like $5 to $10 in profit on Amazon, and what I'll probably do is try them in store first. One piece of advice I've gotten from multiple game stores at this point is that when you're doing online and in store at the same time, you have to be really careful because they have a tendency to cannibalize each other. The same games will often sell well online and in person. So that's a balance that we're going to have to actively weigh as we figure this whole thing out. See, this is a great example right here. 20 bucks for Spec Ops The Line. That would be a super easy $15 profit here on Amazon. But maybe it's also the kind of thing that would be awesome to have in store. I know it's risen in popularity this last year when like the online version of it got shut down or you can't get it on the eShop anymore or something. So should this guy go online or should it go in store? I don't know the answer. Here's one that's easy at least, 10 bucks for Madden 08. This is not anything that would be all that hype in a store, but online, we'll get 23 for it after fees. And it probably is about time at this point that I address the allegations. And yes, it has been a while since our last hairline check. Let's go ahead, let's just rip the Band-Aid, shall we? Oh, dear Lord. Oh, although I'm glad I was looking down because check this out. $15 for honestly any Pokemon game, even loose, obviously that's a replacement artwork. That will sell well literally anywhere. One thing that I do know about this store expansion is that it will provide a very welcome diversification of our sales channels. One thing that I get asked fairly often is, Caleb, what if Amazon shut you down? That's something that has happened to sellers in the past. And the reality is, up until this point, we have very little diversification away from that. We do sell on Encore a decent bit, at least the stuff that doesn't go on Amazon. But that kind of a destructive event for the business, if Amazon was like, no, you guys are just done at this point, would sting a heck of a lot less if we did have a store that we could also pivot to. Oh my gosh, I had no idea Nathan Fielder played soccer. Sometimes I feel insecure about the way that I squat in video game stores. Does this position make my body look good? Well, folks, I was just scanning through the Xbox section here looking for some sports games and happened upon some friends of the channel, Dustin, Landon, and Jessica here, and they found something super cool. They beat me to one of the finds. What was it?
Super Mario 3 for only $16.99.
$16.99. That's incredible. Thank you so much for watching the channel. Shout out to you guys.
Yep, we enjoy your channel.
Yeah, and best of luck on the hunt too.
All right.
Yes, thank you.
Take care.
God.
Now folks, in case there was any doubt that this is the most affordable game store chain out there, check out what I just found here. $16.99 on this beautiful gold cart Zelda game. Now, the reason that I said the pricing is a little bit unpredictable here is you can also see another copy here at $24.99 and then another copy here at, what is this, $34.99. So you do have to dig a little bit here, but if you do, you definitely will be rewarded at Disc Replay. Wait, what the heck is this? I've never even heard of this. Is this real? Oh, Japanese maybe. Does this work with US Super Nintendos? That's crazy. It is official. So somebody tell me what the heck this does. Well, folks, as you can see, it was definitely a productive trip. The only problem is most of the stuff that I did end up getting is all Amazon games, which granted may end up being a blessing in disguise because that'll be better for cash flow short term and it'll give us plenty of money to buy collections. Not all hope of cool store inventory is lost because this is just day one. And it's day two. Now folks, in this location, just like the last one, I'm seeing tons of interesting inventory potential here. But what's especially interesting is I'm seeing a couple more discounts that I didn't see at the last location. Check this out, $1.25 on all of these copies. Now these Assassin's Creeds I wouldn't necessarily be interested in, but check out the discount that I just spied over in the sports section. Folks, check this out. I don't think I've ever seen the likes of this in a video game store before. Buy two, get 8 free on sports games that are not just in this dump bin here. A lot of folks seeing this are going to see these like NASCAR 09s and Madden 06s and assume that there's no potential in here. And if I was buying strictly for in-store, that probably would be the case, but I'm also still buying for Amazon and there should be some titles that we can make a few bucks on in here, especially because buy 2, get 8, that's an average of what? Up to 80% off. We're gonna see if we can do some work in here, but the cool thing is it's not limited, they said, just to those dump bins. Anything that is PS4 and older, they also are going to honor it for. So like anything in this Wii section, anything in PS3. So I'm gonna take a look around and see just how much stuff I can stack for that insane discount. Literally perfect example right here. This backyard baseball, what is that, 2010? we're only netting $6 on this thing after fees. So at normal sticker price, I'd never be able to buy this at, you know, $12. But at 75% off, suddenly this $12 game becomes a $3 game. And actually we're able to double our money. By the way, folks, please no comments on the hair today. I'm trying to go hatless. I'm trying to embrace myself, but I am feeling a little bit like Robert Pattinson from the Batman, you know, like vengeance. Well, folks, about 20 minutes and I don't know how many dollars later, we've got a solid little stack here that's coming home. The only semi-unfortunate part is this stuff, again, is almost exclusively Amazon. Not all. Some stuff has some store potential. But again, I'm not gonna complain because these unassuming sports games for a few bucks a piece will be really healthy for cash flow. Like, folks, just look at the sheer number of non-video game items that they're able to sell in this store alone. Now, I don't necessarily have an interest in dabbling all that much in electronics in our future store, but it's definitely enough to at least get me thinking about the possibilities. I mean, even the pops here, these are something that I've actually heard very mixed things. Like Retro Rick says that these do not sell very well in his store, but the last store I was just in, Vacuums and Video Games, said they sell pops all the time. Like, look, there's even more stuff here. Analog stick covers for $1 a piece. These are probably super cheap. There's stickers for $1 a piece as well. The opportunities here, folks, are just truly endless. Well, folks, I'm somehow getting rained on again. This has just been one of the wetter game hunting trips I've ever taken, but the word on the street is that this disc replay here is one of the best ones in the state, so I'm super excited to get in here and see if we can continue this spending spree. I'm feeling pretty good. One thing I've been having a lot of luck with recently at game store chains in general is the DS games. And I really love these specific displays. They're like these huge binders here at the front counter that people can just leaf through. It's all like the lower dollar stuff, but as I'm thinking about it for a store, I like that it's like right at the retail counter. So even though these things are smaller, it probably disincentivizes theft, but it's also super easy to at a glance see all of the unique titles, which is an issue that you run into if everything is, you know, kind of strewn about in a glass case like this. Now, this is something that I just wanted to note. I don't know the ownership at this store, but if this was one of my local stores and I was trying to get close with the management, this is the kind of thing that I would spot. They have a ton of copies of, whoa, oh, sorry, I didn't mean it, I'm sorry. The fact that they've got like 25 plus copies of Pokemon Shield here kind of gets my wheels turning as to whether or not they would be interested in clearing out like maybe half of them if some of these have been, you know, mispriced or sitting here for a while. Like maybe they would be interested in doing like 25 a piece for a good number of these just to get their shelves more clear. I don't really have a relationship with management now, and I wouldn't necessarily want to lead with an ask that big, but at your local store, if they're sitting on tons of stuff that they've, you know, been having trouble clearing out for whatever reason, that can be a great candidate for bulk deals. Oh, bingo. This is one game that people quick flip to us all the time. This one you can see is $7.99, $8. Looks like we pay just $8 for it on quick flips in loose condition, but I found this thing as low as like $2 before. Well, folks, if you could just go ahead and erase everything that I just said from your immediate memory, turns out I have a mutual connection to the management of the store here, and Isaac, shout out Isaac, hooked it up and said that this stack and this stack of Pokemon Shields he would be willing to let go for 28 a piece, which I was tickled with because I feel like this is the exact kind of stuff that you would absolutely want to have in stock at a store. And in addition to that, worst case, it is the kind of inventory that we could move for 37-ish a piece on Amazon. So I'm covered either way, making money no matter what. And folks, it is like I always tell you, opportunity is everywhere with this stuff. All right, resellers, we need to have a little chat because I've been talking to a lot of video game store managers on this trip, and one thing that I've been shocked by that all of the conversations have had in common is that these people in general do not like resellers. Now, fortunately, that hasn't stopped me from still developing good relationships with some of these folks, but I do find it very concerning because the more bad experiences that game store managers have with resellers in general, the harder it's going to be to form positive partnerships for people like us going forward. And I'll be honest, folks, some of the stories that I'm hearing are kind of rough. I'm not talking about like, oh, we don't want anyone else making money around here. I'm talking about like resellers coming in and being pushy and abrasive and demanding discounts and disrespecting staff, making comments like insulting the inventory, like, oh, you're never gonna sell this at this price. You have to give me a discount. I'm just hearing this and cringing, man. And folks, it's at the point where when I come in and am generally courteous and respectful and decent, a lot of these folks are surprised, like it's gotten bad out here. So I just wanted to share one of the lines that I've had most success with in forming new relationships, and what I would have asked here of Isaac, the store manager, if I didn't have a mutual friend in common. I like to say when I'm looking for deals, hey, do you have any inventory here that you've been sitting on a while that you'd be really happy to move? And even that, I wouldn't necessarily whip out probably until my third or fourth time doing business in a given store, just to give myself enough time to be a regular face and get some goodwill. But this is just your regular PSA, folks, to, in general, when you're doing business, be kind, not only because it's the right thing to do, but also because the reality is in the long term in business, it's also more strategic. I ended up pulling the trigger not only on all of those Pokemon Shields, but also some miscellaneous DS games and PS3 sports stuff for Amazon, loaded them all back up into the Prius, and headed back to Lexington. I was honestly feeling really good about my road trip success until I got back to the store. This is gonna be harder than I thought.